Today we're talking about something that may be lurking in the weeds there over at New Riff Distilling Company, and I think it's going to be something you're going to want to really pay attention to. We're going to talk about that today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are talking about, again, something that's relatively new to me over the course of maybe even the last couple weeks. My buddy Marty, Whiskey Knows, suggested this. I had some friends pick this thing up for me over there at New Riff Distilling Company, and admittedly, I was a little bit hesitant, but rather than get into all of that right now, let's kind of tell you a little bit about exactly what this is. This is the 2024 Silver Grove Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is a bourbon that they have aging that's specific to this label that is aging on the upper two floors of a 5-floor rickhouse. The proof on this one, again, for the 2024 release was 116.2 proof. The mash bill on this is, if not my favorite, one of my favorites. 65% corn, 30% rye, 5% malted barley. Absolutely love that high rye mash bill. It is age stated as 4 years old, but you can probably see just based on the color of this thing alone that those upper two floors of this rick are absolutely doing some wonders for the barrel interaction on this one. So again, I mentioned 4 years old, non-chill filtered, and get this, the price on this thing is a pretty darn friendly $60. So I think as we get into this, this is gonna be one of those sneaky good bourbons that I think, again, is really flying under the radar, or, you know, lurking in the weeds, whatever you want to call it. So for those of you who are interested in seeking things out, I feel like this is one that doesn't get nearly the attention that it probably does or should. So let's go ahead and kind of get into this thing a little bit. You know what? Let's give myself a little bit more of a pour here. And that really will allow me to show off some more of the color on this one. So let's dive into this so you guys can see color-wise. I mean, it is a beautiful, deep, rich kind of copper, mahogany type of color. Again, moving the whiskey around the glass, really pretty decent oils. Again, even at 4 years old, but all of that heat that's there in Kentucky, doing some absolute wonders, at least so far with the color on this. So let's go ahead and dive into the nose and see exactly what this one's gonna give us. Boy, so in addition to the spice, like right out of the glass, it has every kind of bourbon property of a double oaked bourbon. A lot of that kind of barrel char that's there, burnt brown sugars, really nice kind of like a charred marshmallow, but a fantastic rye spice specifically. I mean, it is very identifiable that this is more than likely, even if you didn't know the mash bill, that this is really kind of presenting itself as a really nice high rye bourbon. Yeah, I think you'll even get some of those kind of like rich, like vanilla custard, some caramel notes, but again, it really comes across as if you've smelled or, even tasted what those double oaks can kind of give you, where there's that heavy kind of barrel influence, charred marshmallow, caramels, vanillas, all of that. It has a lot of that so far on the nose. Yeah, just overall beautiful nose so far. Everything that I really truly appreciate in a darker, richer type of bourbon profile. Again, all of this coming in at 4 years old. Could have some that are maybe a little bit older, but the youngest blend in this is going to be in that 4-year-old range. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time and dive into the palate and see exactly what this one's going to give us. Cheers.
Today's video is sponsored by LightMe, an over-the-ear earbud so extremely light you won't even know you have it on. Perfect for when you're working out like I'm doing now, listening to your favorite music, podcasts, or when you're watching all those My Bourbon Journey videos. Now let's talk a little bit about the sound. The sound on these is absolutely fantastic. Great highs, great mids, great lows, and a really nice amount of bass, allowing for whatever it is that you're listening to sound exactly how you want it to. Now, is using these difficult? It's not difficult at all. Everything is going to be right at the tip of a finger. Whether it's your left hand or right hand, you're going to make all of your adjustments right there. So volume up, volume down, track forward, track back, pause. It's as easy as a press of a finger. Now, most importantly, how do you get these? Check out the link in the description below. That down there is going to allow you to save 10% off your order. Last time they sold out. Make sure you get on this and get these again before they sell out this time. Again, save 10% off your order with the link in the description below. I have to say a big thank you to LightMe for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the workout.
If you're a fan of the nose and palate matching, this is just a home run. I mean, it is very, very much on point where the nose and palate match. Again, a lot of those, burnt brown sugars, that charred marshmallow, a really nice, again, amount of barrel, that barrel influence that's there. More or specifically that kind of char without the dryness that oftentimes you'll get from maybe some of the older whiskeys. This doesn't have a lot of that actual kind of tannic or drying kind of effect to it. It just gives you that really nice char or barrel influence that it has so far. Like I mentioned early on with that mash bill, that 30% rye is such a huge influence on the characteristic of this. So if you're somebody who appreciates a spicy meatball, that's from my buddy Jason. That is really spot on with this. That rye is really built in there, and it's a strong backbone or character of this bourbon. So when you are kind of combining that rye spice, a little bit of black pepper, with a lot of that kind of double oak feel, the marshmallows, the burnt brown sugars, the caramels, things like that, maybe some vanilla custards, both of those as a combo are just absolutely incredible. And it fits or works for my palate extremely well because that is the kind of bourbon that I truly enjoy. And again, this is a nice representation of a whiskey that doesn't always have to have a lot of big age to it. I think, again, when you factor in where the blends of this are coming from, basically floor 5 and 4 of that, 5-story rickhouse, it just really goes to show that you have to kind of get outside the box and not just kind of narrow yourself into age and proof and all of that. Everything that this has going for it is incredible. And this thing, again, is something up until a couple weeks ago I had never even heard of. Had no idea this was a bottle from New Riff. Had no idea it even existed. So I'm really glad Marty recommended this bottle to me, and I was able to have some friends pick this thing up because it is an absolutely fantastic bourbon for $60. It has everything, again, that I think a lot of people truly enjoy, with a bourbon, and I'm really happy to get this. I even think at $60, if you had a couple bottles of these, you'd be fortunate to have that. I mean, I think if you can get these, I would definitely seek something like this out. Yeah, even I think with that spice, it has a little bit of this spicy, hot chocolate feel to it. The barrel influence, the marshmallow, the caramels, the vanillas, maybe a little hint of a fruit layer. If there is fruit, it's going to be all that kind of dark, kind of refined fruit, so to speak, almost to the point of where you'll get the darker fruit fermenting. It almost feels rich like that, but without the huge fruit flavor profile. I don't want you to think this is a huge fruit bomb because I don't think it's exactly that. It has a lot of the other characteristics that I've kind of been describing all along, but overall, how well this is kind of blended and just put together for that price and just everything that it has going for it, in that kind of package that this has, I mean, it feels like in today's day and age, an extremely spot on value for just a great bourbon. And again, I think this thing just is sitting there lurking without it having much or any real attention. And you've got something like this that's just sitting at the distillery waiting for you and I to walk in and make that purchase. So for me to you, if you can get a bottle of this, they also have a rye that I was unfortunately unable to get my hands on. I'll work on that for sure. I'm excited to try that as well. But so far with this one, I think this is going to be a bourbon that not only should you seek out, but I think when people really get into this, this could really factor into one of those top whiskeys of whatever the year is that you're getting into this. Specifically, this was the 2024 release, but I'm trying it here in 2025. But again, overall, what this thing has to offer, it's an absolutely incredible, incredible bourbon. So in a nutshell, I think at the end of the day, you guys can see how much I really, truly enjoy this bottle. So I don't think I have to tell you to go out and get it if you can find it or have somebody pick one up for you. Just do it. I don't think you'll regret that at all. So there you go. This is the 2024 Silver Grove Straight Bourbon Whiskey produced at New Riff Distilling there in Kentucky. Seek it out. I think, again, this is going to be something very, very interesting. And if you have had this, definitely let me know your thoughts. Am I spot on with this thing? Am I missing something? Whatever it may be, I'd love to also hear your feedback on these as to, what you're kind of interpreting, what you're getting when you're sitting down with a whiskey like this, or this one specifically. So there you go. Again, the 2024 Cedar Grove Straight Bourbon Whiskey produced by New Riff Distilling Company. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Greatly appreciate it as always. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below. That down there with a lot of other great things for you as well. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook and Instagram, those places at My Bourbon Journey. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. And remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers, and we'll see you next time.